Alright, so today's project is to get my tomatoes and my peppers, get them out in the garden. They've been sitting in the greenhouse for quite a while here. They're getting pretty big, and the weather's nice and warm now, and warm at nights, so it's going to be in the 50s at night, so I think it's about time to get them out there. Got my trellises up yesterday for my tomatoes, so ready to go. So I'll take you along and show you kind of what I'm doing. So the first thing I got to do is get the black plastic cover off the bed here and probably rake it out a little bit, see if there's any weeds. Get the weights off here. And get it folded up. Alright, it's looking pretty good here. It's already had compost on it from earlier, so I think we're about ready to go here. I'm going to put a perimeter around the bed so that I know exactly where my edges are, so I get my plant spaced nicely within the bed. Now I got my bed perimetered out, and I'm going to start setting my pots out and the places where I think they should go and get the spacing right. For peppers, I usually do about 2 feet, and that seems to be sufficient for them. Alright, I can use my tape measure, which is another good use for having a tape measure, because you always have measurements right there readily available, so you can easily see where I need to set my plants here. A little too close together there. There we go. So I got these 6-packs here at Jerry's, and these are just like a sweet pepper mix. Variety of colors here: red, yellow, green, and orange. So it's nice to have a little bit of variety. They were a lot cheaper to get them in the 6-pack. They're a little more difficult to set out, but I'm just pulling them out and setting them on the soil. I'm going to get them in within a few minutes. You know, the next 5 minutes I'll get them all planted anyway, so their roots aren't going to dry out. They're watered them this morning. It's always best to water your starts before you set them out, so they're not dehydrated. So looks like I can get about maybe another 6 inches this way, and then maybe spade down at the other end, and maybe be able to squeeze them in here. So it's nice to be able to set them out first, see the spacing, and kind of get an idea of how far apart things are going to be, and if you have room for everything, or you need to shuffle things around and close up the gap just slightly, or so I can move them in like 2 inches each one, and that might save me some more space too. Now I can get them in. Down here. There. Great. So, break back some of the compost here so I don't get that too mixed in, because I want to keep that on the surface. It's the great thing about having compost on the surface of the soil, that it keeps the soil from drying out. At least not quite as fast. As you see, it's very dry on the surface here, but just right underneath, it's perfectly moist soil that the plants are going to enjoy and appreciate a lot more. If it was just soil on the top, it would crack, it would dry out and lose its moisture much faster. So that's the benefit. So I like keeping a compost layer on the surface. Alright, so spacing in here, probably should do 6 inches from the edges. So that would be there. And that gives me, let's see, 6, 12, 18. Yep. So that gives me about 18 inches between them. So I'll do 6 inches from the edge here. Drop it in there. Help to spread out the roots a little bit on here so that they're not all so compact and they're more willing to venture out. Okay, get it nicely packed down. I'll push back the compost layer, spread it around a little bit, and off to the next one here. So I can see there's already roots growing around here from the spinach nearby. Compete a little bit, but spinach is already starting to go to seed here, so I'm going to have to get some more going here to replace it. That'll probably be the last for the year since it doesn't do well in the hot sun. Break it up a little bit so that it doesn't so clumpy and get better root contact. Try to keep it up and down, of course, not leaning over or something. Start it out right and continue upright. Alright, there's that one. Off to the next. Okay. Unlike a tomato, you want to plant these at ground level. It means the level at where they were, or the ground level where they had it, you want to maintain that and not bury them deeper. They're not going to put out roots up the stem like a tomato will. These are a orange sun sweet bell pepper that I'm planting here, this first 6-pack. So I'll put the marker down here, the end pointed this way, and then as soon as I hit another marker, I'll know that it's on to another variety. I keep all my markers in row facing the same way. So these, which are just single ones, I'll just put by the plants, facing this way. Alright, got them all planted. Alright, so I got all the pepper plants planted now, and moving on to the tomato plants. So we got the trellises up. I'll show you a little bit about how I got those up this year. Made a little bit of change every year. I got to make an improvement. So I'll show you what improvement I made this year. You might like it. Okay, let's go.